Hello all and welcome back to Press Any Button to Continue. My name's Keith and I'm joined by my co-host Nisha. Today we're tackling the big bad boys. And that's right, we are talking about the best video game boss battles. From their inception to their techniques to how you beat them to maybe just the beautiful soundtracks that play along with them. What are your favorites? We'll explore that today on Press Any Button to Continue.
Man, thinking about these boss battles here, some of them are just so epic. They really brought me back. Like, I was like thinking of what's my favorite ones that really push you, ones that really challenge you. Some of them you finish a whole game, you expect a difficult battle and it's just like right, that was easy.
Sure,
and then some of them you're like, fuck, you're raging the fuck. But tell me this, what is the most difficult boss battle you've ever had? We're going straight in with the most difficult one you've ever had. Mightn't necessarily be your favourite, but
this is hard because like when I was making like a list of such, I was looking at difficulty came into it, epicness came into it, uniqueness, you know, like there was a lot of different factors that come on in. I don't know how much I incorporated the most difficult, but I mean the one that comes to my head most instantly is the final Virgil from Devil May Cry 3. He is particularly a nasty bad boy because one quality that everyone can agree is bullshit is when bosses regenerate their health. Okay, when you're like, oh, he's nearly dead and he gets a new health bar, or he transforms and he starts healing himself. It is absolutely awful. But I do have like a little unique flavor for one that I think is a difficulty spike that rails you, and it's in a Pokemon game.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you remember, it's a Gen 2 one, so it is Crystal, of a playthrough you played not so long ago.
Yeah, I've done,
It's a lady who has a Pokemon who can only be described as I would smash the Pokemon to death, right? It has 6 nipples, it has a big juicy udder, and it's fucking Milk Tank. It's fucking Milk Tank from Gym 2, or is it Gym 3 in Pokemon Gold and Silver. This lady brings out the Milk Tank, right? First of all, what does the Milk Tank do? It makes you fall in love with it. Literally, like it has a move that makes you, it's called Attract, that makes you fall in love with it, so you miss half your attacks. Then it has this thing called Rolling Smash where every time it gets more powerful. And your one has an illegal amount of super potions. I don't know where the shag in hell she puts them, but you shouldn't be allowed to have that many super potions. It is the weirdest difficulty spike in gaming. But I think there are 2 that come into my mind.
That's ringing a bell, actually, that one where it keeps getting more powerful with every move that it hits, or with every move that it is.
Yeah, oh god, and sure, fuck it. Those fucking nipples are super effective against any Pokemon. No Pokemon can resist that lactating 6 bad boys. You know, when you just want to grab the teeth. You want to grab the teeth, you want to pull it, and you want to flick it. You know what I mean? You want to grab the teeth, you want to pull it, you want to bite it with your teeth, you want to pull out, and you want to flick it with your finger, you know?
Have you seen the new Star Wars movies by any chance?
What are we talking about? Like 7, 8, 9?
Sorry, the new trilogy. Yeah, the new trilogy.
I have.
Do you remember the really unusual scene of Luke Skywalker milking the animal on the island?
I think that's where a lot of people were like, well, Star Wars has changed.
That was so weird, man. Oh, it was so fucking weird.
I like the way you're like, that was so weird, man. Did you like it as much as I did? Yes. Oh, fuck.
For me, man, right, 2 of the most difficult boss battles ever. One of them is, it's a weird style of a boss battle, and it's Wizpig in Diddy Kong Racing.
I have that down.
Oh, do you? Yeah. So that's technically considered a boss battle.
Oh,
it is
100%.
the last race. Yeah.
I've never gotten to it myself, mind you, but I've watched people do it. Yeah.
So there's 2. So there's kind of like a secret ending in Diddy Kong Racing. So there's a secret area. I think I was explaining this before. So Diddy Kong Racing was one of the first Nintendo 64 games I ever got, and I could never beat it. I could never get to the end, and only I think it was last year roughly that I managed to finally beat it. But the pressure and the like excitement and the buzz of doing the race and the challenge of the race and then finally doing it was so cool, and just a real epic like final race and final battle in the game. And I really, really loved it. All the bosses in that, I thought that was very interesting with the adventure mode in Diddy Kong Racing when they had the different bosses, because they were really cool and they had different style, depending on the vehicle. It was,
it's
really
a game
cool.
we most badly. I'm not. We've had long conversations about remakes and remasters and everything, but it's probably the game that most badly needs like a legit remake with online
That'd be
functionality
very cool.
stored. Because like the boss battles are amazing. 3 different vehicle sections. Even they had like little battle modes, right, where you had to pick up the eggs. Do you remember? There was like little battle modes you could do.
Yeah.
It's arguably the best kart racer, and it's actually, there's quite in-depth little tricks to it too, like boosting at the last second on the pads and braking and extra drifting, and there's a lot of unique stuff in it. That and Crash Team Racing, but Crash Team Racing got the remake and it was great, but it was also ruined by microtransactions. So, but yeah, good choice.
I don't think I've ever played Crash Team Racing, but
it's hard, but very good.
It,
yeah, there's a lot of boss battles in that too, but they're just, I know the boss battles in Diddy Kong Racing are races too, but they're like big monster things. They're not in cars sometimes.
Very cool.
But yeah, this was Crash Team Racing is difficult, and I remember enjoying that difficulty a lot.
I might check it out. My second most difficult boss battle of all time was, and spoiler alert if you haven't played Final Fantasy X, okay? Just going to give you a heads up if you haven't played Final Fantasy X.
What if I haven't played it?
Have you not? Have you not played it?
You've talked to me at length about it though, because I know I've played a little bit of it, but I haven't finished it. Now I've no immediate plans.
Well, what? I can still talk about it without spoiling it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, it won't mean a thing to me. No, I'll just be bored.
So, Sin then, if you've played it, and if you haven't played it, well, you don't know the full story. But Sin is the final boss, right? And I remember playing. That's one of my favorite games of all time. I've put a couple of 100 hours, I'd say, into the game over the years.
Did you just say it's your favorite game of all time?
It's one of my favorite games of all time. Literally hundreds of hours have gone into that over the years, and the final boss battle, I remember I couldn't do it. I couldn't beat Sin. Yeah,
man. It's tough to finish, and you just have to allow that to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay, it happens to everyone sometimes. Sometimes you can't finish, sometimes you can't get it going, and it's okay.
We've all been there. But what I did was So I couldn't finish it, right? And I just was like, right, that's it. I can't beat this final boss. I've tried and tried and tried. Final Fantasy X-2 came out, bought that game, played it, loved it. It reinvigorated my love of the game. Went back, figured out a way to... You can get a certain Saiyan, or not Saiyan, fucking Dragon Ball in my head. You can get a certain monster, like you can call them the monsters. The name has eluded me as to what they are. But there's a one you can get called Joe Jimbo or something like that, right? And you can pay him money, and every time he does like 9999. And I eventually, only through that cheeky little way of doing it, was I able to finally beat Sin and the final boss of Final Fantasy X. But that was definitely probably the most difficult alongside Wizpig, because it literally took me like a couple of years to actually get there to be able to do it.
There's definitely some growing up that I remember. You know what the classic thing about boss battles is? Now look, if I was to actually go with most difficult boss battles, I don't have them on my list because they weren't always as memorable to me. But Dark Souls, like some of the Dark Souls bosses tested me beyond anything.
Well, Bloodborne for me, but it's kind of... I feel like they're one and the same.
Oh my god, the first time you face Gascoigne in Bloodborne, who's like the first kind of boss guy, he's like the priest guy who turns into a werewolf. He's like one of the first bosses. Do you remember him at all? No?
I think I do. Yes, I do. Up on the bridge.
No, that's the first boss. You're right with that. It's the one after that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's the one where he's like normal sized, and he's a proper guy who's rolling around, and he's in like a graveyard.
Yeah, I feel like I do remember it.
He, like, adjusting to the game was, like, beating him is adjusting to the game, right? Where every other boss battle is actually, they're technically harder, but the learning curve with him is so extreme in gaming in general, like, perfect timing. Actually, sorry, Sekiro is by hard. For me, Sekiro was the hardest Souls game. Sekiro's the one where you're a samurai, and you gotta... like Sekiro, I'm not sure how you say it.
Yeah. What console is that on? PS4?
It's on Xbox One and PS4.
Xbox One?
Yeah, both of them.
That gen.
That game on stream, I was streaming that for months. I got to the final boss in that game, right? And I'm very tenacious. There was boss battles that took me days on stream to do. Because in that game, there's countering. and it's not about rolling. You have to counter at the right time and you have to jump at the right time, and it is.
Okay.
I definitely think it's way harder than the rest of them personally.
Yeah?
And I remember on a boss fight for 3 days, but the boss fight was like 5 to 10 minutes ago, so I was fine with it. The very
Right.
final boss has like 3 different phases, and it's about a 20-minute run. And I couldn't keep doing the 20-minute. I couldn't keep getting to minute 18 and then starting at minute 1 again. Like, I would have done that boss for years and months if it was a 5-minute run. For some people, I'm sure it is. So I got to the last boss in that game. It's the only one I couldn't finish.
Nice. Are you serious? Yeah. Do you think you'll ever go back?
It's just purely because I was on stream and I was like, this is a fucking business. Like, I can't stay on this boss for months. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't keep doing this every day, man. You know?
Yeah.
So we just watched the ending cutscene instead.
Look, man, sometimes you just got to do it. I've done that for a lot of old NES games, which I can barely get past the second fucking level. Never mind completing the game. Just because out of curiosity, I wanted to watch the ending. But have you played Elden Ring? Is that one of the Souls games? Yeah.
Yeah, I finished it.
I've heard it's absolutely incredible. I haven't played it, and I believe the DLC that came out is like fucking phenomenal.
And it's supposed to be even harder again.
Is it
the
worth-
best way to describe, you've played Bloodborne is the only Souls game you've played, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Bloodborne, but in Breath of the Wild. That's like basically the best way I could like describe it to you.
That sounds
With
very
way
cool.
more detail than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, it has like, you know the way Breath of the Wild is like fields, mountains.
Mhm.
This is like
Yeah.
full on castles that you'd find in a
Nice.
linear game. It's
Cool.
outrageous.
Deadly. Yeah, I must give it a go.
Question for you though, right? What's your most memorable boss fight? What one sticks with you because it was innovative, it was unique, it had a little something going on?
Definitely, it has to be Ganondorf and Ocarina of Time, man. Has to be. The way he's floating up over the thing looks so cool. The almost tennis back and forth.
But hang on now. I do agree with you. Just to add a question to you on picking that, do you think that's the best Ganondorf fight out of all
Do I
Zeldas?
think that's the best Ganondorf fight?
I did say memorable now, in fairness, so it's probably your most memorable. Do you think it's the best?
For me, it's I find it difficult to pick the best. Like I've played a lot of the mainline Zelda games and finished them. I did really like the fucking Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes,
final.
I was just thinking that was outrageous.
That was epic. That was just fucking flying through the sky, epic.
The
But I
health
think
bar that extends past the screen was just such a moment.
That was fuck. I was like, stop. It just kept going. That has to be, honestly, man, Ocarina of Time for me. That boss battle is just so fucking cool. Going up the tower, the different stages of the boss battle, the way he was flying, that for me just really
The
did it.
floatiness, and then he turns into the big beast.
Yeah, and then when he turns into the beast, which was kind of like a throwback to older Zelda games of like Pig Ganon, and I just, for me, man, that's definitely the most epic. One of my favorites for sure. Possibly, it possibly is my favorite. Just because it's so epic, man. It's so cool, and I've done it so many times as well.
Yeah, that game as well just means a lot to you, do you know? I think in terms of Ganon fights, the one that obviously sticks in my head tends to be your favourite game. But I actually think amongst the Zelda community in general, whatever you think about the game, the Ganon in Wind Waker is very epic in the sense that you start off and there's Shadow Ganon, and he's a puppet, and he goes through these different things with the light arrows. But it's the setting of Ganon in Wind Waker where you get to Zelda, and spoilers, obviously we're talking boss battles here, there's going to be a lot of it, Tetra Zelda, that becomes the whole thing, and then there's the scene between Zelda, it's Zelda fights with you, which I think is really cool in this one, which is like unique, right? And you have to bounce a light arrow off your shield into him to trick him, because he's able to dodge and move everything, and like the combat's really cool in that, and you finally like manage to deflect a light arrow off your shield. It hits Ganondorf, he's stunned, and then you jump up and you grab the sword and you stab it into his head. It goes right into his head.
Nice.
So like Toon Link gets it on in there, and they're in a thing where there's a waterfall filling the whole place up, because Hyrule is, it's all about the drowning of it and stuff, and that's what Ganon's trying to do, to drown the whole place. And then he turns to stone, and then King Hyrule himself, who was the boat the whole time. I think that had some of the best twists in it. The boat is actually the king of Red Lions.
I actually can't remember. Like, I've played the game and I loved it.
You need to
and I only played
replay.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Because
Wind Waker is also
can't
probably
remember
the
that
easiest to pick up and play. Like, it's just cozy, fun, good times.
It is. Yeah.
And then the music plays, and the king sacrifices himself, and it's just incredible.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and play Wind Waker. I feel like that's definitely a game I could get into at the moment, because it's a nice, bright, kind of cozy, fun, and but really also fun. A lot of adventure, because I don't know the
Not
game,
too
so
hard either.
But I'd have to adventure through the game, because I don't know it. I played it once and I completed it, but I don't know it like the back of my hand, if you know what I mean. So I'd have to really explore the game, should I say. Another really, I think, classic boss battle in the Zelda series is Shadow Link in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
do you remember
that? Yeah, where you go into that like mirrored water land, and there's a tree in the middle, and he just like spawns. Yeah, he's a fun one.
Yeah, and he basically mirrors everything you do. I remember that being a really fun one, and just really cool and different, and again quite an epic one in the Legend of Zelda series. Do you have ones that are just like? Because I have one here, and it's just like fun. A fun little, like, doesn't have to be a fine, like, these aren't final boss battles. This could be any kind of boss battle.
I will introduce this one to you, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I will throw my shit at you.
For some reason, when you sang that, it reminded me of Mary Majora.
I know, sure. How can we not?
Didn't she sing that when she was on as a guest? Jesus, the great mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day. That's another game I'm gonna have to play again, man, because
so good. Actually,
yeah,
like Conker and Wind Waker are like definitely in my like two of my favorite games.
Yeah. Deadly, man, deadly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play it again. But that was a very fun one. Just
he's singing a whole opera while you're fighting him, like a whole like 5 minute.
Oh yeah,
shit.
Brilliant. For me, the kind of fun one is in the Simpsons arcade game, and I remember we played it, and you weren't a big fan when I was down in Cork. You weren't really.
I think
feeling
it's just
it,
you know what? To your
was
point,
it the machine
that
was fucked?
I just don't know if I enjoy playing. I find it uncomfortable playing a game sometimes in an arcade. Like I feel like if we were sitting down and we were playing it, but like there's certain games that are fun in arcades, but I think if it's like level after level and it like potentially, there's I don't know.
You're spending
like playing
time
Tekken in an arcade is fun. Playing those like multiplayer fighting games or non-cooperative stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I'd need to like sit into The Simpsons. I don't know. I'd need to like be in my own environment to embrace it and enjoy it.
No, I get it, man. I get it. It's definitely a game worth playing if you're a fan of The Simpsons, of course. But for me, it is literally the first level of the Simpsons arcade game. And to be fair, a lot of arcade games, the first level is what a lot of people would play because they're
so
purposely
hard.
built to be difficult. But the bosses, I had to look up the name of this boss. So the boss's name is Werner von Braun, and he's like he looks like a wrestler or something like that. And it's a very memorable one for me because I remember playing it so much as a kid. Anytime me and my brother went to the arcade, and again, I feel like it's one that probably a lot of people know because it's the first boss and the first level of an arcade game. When again, a lot of people might only ever play the first and second levels of arcade games.
I wonder do game developers like purposely just like only do the first level like really well, and then like the rest of them were just like garbage. You know what I mean?
Sure, nobody will play them anyway.
That's what I do at home. That's actually how my homework style worked. We used to get 3 essay questions, and I'd only ever do 1. And the only way I get away with that is because we had to read them out in class. They weren't taken up to be corrected. We'd read them out. So when he was like, right, who wants to read out this one? I'd be like, sir, I gotta read this one out. I love reading things out for you. So then he wouldn't ask me for the other 2. So I'd only ever do a third of my homework ever.
Oh yeah.
But I'd make sure I was the one who got to read out the answer for the question he asked, and so he didn't pick someone. Man.
That's clever. You know, I was thinking a lot of my boss battles are N64 games,
Mm-hmm.
like almost all of them. But I don't know. Like, do you have much experience with Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64?
I've never finished it. I've never played it. I played it for the first time on stream a little bit the other day.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was enjoying it. I know there's a big head monkey boy that like is one of the
Yeah.
final boss battles, but
Andros. Yeah.
Andros. Yeah.
I was just looking up the name of it there, but I do remember that being a real epic one. Just the fact that you're flying the ship and you're just that game itself, man. Like, have you played Star Fox?
No,
on the
not
SNES?
really. Like, I've played them,
really?
but only for like 5 minutes at a time.
Not much experience with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
they're
something I'd
fantastic.
like to do.
Actually, I was actually playing it the other night on the Switch SNES library. I just was playing a bit of Starwing. Hadn't played it in a long time. Really, really cool. Did you ever see the advertisement for that game, man? They made
For which
these
one?
like for Starwing or Star Fox. They made these like
don't think
puppets
so.
of the four main characters:
That does ring a bell, though.
Fox, Slippy, Falco, and Piggy, whatever the other one's. I don't know what the other one's name is.
Yeah, you fucking piggy.
But Andros from Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64 is another really fun one for me, along with Werner von Braun in the Simpsons arcade.
I have I have an interesting one for you.
Okay,
And I
yeah,
want to see
go
if
for
you
it.
remember it. This is actually arguably, I mean, it depends how you look at it. I'm going to talk The Last of Us 2 for a second, so I'm going to be... Actually, it's a spoiler, but it's not story spoiler. I'm not going to go for the obvious last fight. But do you remember the Rat King in The Last of Us 2?
I don't.
So the Rat King is when you're playing as spoilers, as Abby, and you go down to the basement of the hospital, and all these clickers have amalgamated into one giant ball creature, and it's called
Oh,
the
yeah?
Rat King. And it runs after you. It's super fast. It smashes through walls. It's like you know, there's like bloaters and stuff. They were the big fatter boys,
Yeah.
but this
Mhm.
was like huge. It was like smashed
Yeah.
through. It was like loads of them stuck together. And then,
Yeah.
do you remember that at all?
I don't remember it, man. I really
Fuck.
don't. Yeah.
That shit was scary, man. That was
Yeah.
like traumatizing.
do
It was like
remember
loads of
that game.
clickers just got stuck together and created this one big beast.
I do remember that game being terrifying, man. Like, it did really well at building up the anticipation and the.
Such a master game, I think.
Oh, man,
Actually, we should
so
definitely
good.
do an episode on The Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
We haven't really
100%.
done that, have we?
No, I don't think so.
We've been talking about it for years, but it's like, and we did
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
nice conversation about like why we, you know, what we like and we think it's great, and you know, we talked about its controversial reception and stuff. But I'd love to do a proper full episode on that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other main bosses that I love, right, and in almost every game that I can think of, the battle with this boss is fucking epic, man, and fun and brilliant, is Bowser in Super Mario.
Yeah, true. I
Like-
have Bowser Super Mario 64 down because that's the one I remember spinning him around. You know.
Man, so good. Specifically that one. I think that one has to be the best one.
Such a tune, man.
Or the
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Whatever the music, man.
that is
It's
it.
so fucking-
I also love the music leading up to him.
Yeah, man. Actually, this really, and I hadn't planned this, but Gar just put in our Discord, didn't we say when we hit 125 star reviews that we're going to do a part 2 of our Super Mario podcast
100,
playthrough?
120, yeah.
And we're at 122 at the moment. So, Gar,
Mhm.
we're going to get on. We'll start cooking something up and we'll work towards that, because that's one that that'll take an extra little bit of time, because we like to put the music in and create the atmosphere and the feel and all.
Mhm.
But we will do it.
Well, I mean,
But
with
have
how
you
fast this season is being blasted out, like we can
Yes.
get it organised probably in a few
True.
weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But have you finished Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo? Have you done the boss battle there?
Yes.
Yeah, so at the end you go to Bowser's castle and you're up on the top of the castle and there's like thunder and lightning, and he's in this like little clown hover car, and he
Yes.
drops big bowling balls or bombs on you, and then he also throws these like little like wind up laughy crocodile fucking weird looking things,
Uh-huh.
and you have to throw them at him, and then at the end it like turns upside down and Peach falls out of it and she's like, "Ah!" The way she falls is real funny. But man, and just that game, all of the bosses, all of the different Koopa kids in Super Mario World, man. You know the way they all have their own castle and they have their own little mini cutscene at the end, and every boss battle is different. I fucking love that shit, man. The same with cool. Super Mario Bros. 3. All the Koopa kids are a little bit different and they have their own kind of individual boss battles.
It reminds me though of Mario Odyssey as well. Mario Odyssey actually had some very unique boss fights, and one that just weirdly crazy stands out is, I think it's like the second last boss, and it's a giant dragon. It's like a dragon from another game. It's like a dragon from another show, and it looks like Blue Eyes. Looks like a dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh that you're fighting. And it's purple electricity and all. Do you remember that? No.
I don't remember. I remember there being rabbits. Was there rabbits?
Yes, there was. They were like the kind of intermediate bosses you faced every so often. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
But there was a fucking dragon that was chained down, and you had to break the chains or something, and it was pretty fucking intense for a Mario game, man.
Sure, like, man, how weird was it that at the start of Super Mario Odyssey there's a big fucking T-Rex, like realistic. I know you get Yoshi, but there's like realistic.
It really set the tone for the game though, just being wacky. And it is a fantastic game. The part where you're in New Donk City as well, where that song plays, jump up, do, and you're like going through the side-scrolling part, and like that's kind of, it's like a boss level rather than a boss fight, I guess. But that is really, really cool. Do you know what comes into my mind as like kind of a boss, I guess, is the Master Hand from Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, the hand that comes down and he has like lasers, and you have to beat him as every character and stuff. They were good.
That's a fun game. I always remember thinking you could unlock more in Super Smash Bros. 64, Smash Bros. 64. Thinking you could unlock all these, like going back to retro rumors of there was all these loads of extra unlockables, and it just wasn't the case. But
and then Smash Bros. On the GameCube really like brought all the unlockables. Do you know?
Yeah. And then now how many people are in Smash? Like everyone.
Yeah, but the thing about Melee in particular is that like it had a really fun adventure mode and a really fun unlockable system that I enjoy way more from a single player point of view to any other Smash Bros.
Oh really? Yeah.
Like Smash Bros. Ultimate, like great, has a full roster, all the levels, all the thing. But like as a single player experience, the classic mode and adventure mode where you just like played through both as each character and did your little boss fights and stuff like that for me, and I had like all these different trial runs where like defeat 100 enemies in 30 minutes or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like that stuff was to the point, fun for unlocking, and it was a really good time.
I'd have to invest a bit more time into Smash Bros. Like I've played Smash Bros 64, I've played a little bit of Melee. Most I've played is the one on the Switch, which is what, Super Smash Bros Ultimate or something like that.
Yes, which is kind of just like the Wii U version, just with more shit in it.
Yeah, classic Nintendo.
Stealing our pensions.
Here's a good one. The little prick in Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah, you see, Resident Evil 4 for me is so funny because I one shot every boss fight now, so it's nothing. You just shoot him with the Magnum twice, and then you rocket him in the face. And you can do that with almost every boss fight. The one that he's a little prick and he's annoying. He deserves to be fucking. He's
what's his name? Not Lord Sadler. What's his fucking? I can't think of it.
He's like, you see, you'll never get my
Lord
tiny
Farquaad.
little cock. yeah. Leon. Coming up with some stream ideas. Actually, I think you're doing a Leon cosplay with the chainsaw controller from the PS2.
Oh, that's a fucking great idea, man. What do you need? Like a brown leather jacket? You have one of those jackets.
I actually do. All I would need, honestly, is a wig. Wigs
just
are the problem.
Your hair, man. Just
dye it white
into
like
an
put it down a little flap.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
My hair's not the longest at the moment. It could be tough, but we could get there. Yeah, I guess I could just get like a silver spray, like old woman spray. And like just do a really shit cosplay.
Do it, man. Fucking why not? One more Bowser boss battle that I have to mention is the one from Super Mario Bros. 3, where you're on like just blocks, and it's very basic. He just kind of slams down onto the blocks and obviously breaks a row, and then you have to jump out of the way, and he slams through, and when he eventually slams through, he finishes it. But for me, I just remember that being so epic because although it's one of my favourite games of all time, as a kid, I could never beat the game, and it was only in later years, kind of like Diddy Kong Racing with WizPig. There was a lot of games that, as a kid, I just could never finish these games, like, and it was only as adults. So Super Mario Bros. 3, Bowser as well as.
I know, like, there's so many we're going to be missing that, like, when we read the listeners' questions in a second, I think will come to us. But like, ones like one that sticks in my head, like as the most epic of all time, is Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, because you turn Super Sonic and Butt Rock starts playing. Do you know what I mean? So that as a kid, so literally you turn Super Saiyan and metal music starts playing, rock music starts playing. Like, that is like a 10, 12-year-old is just like, so, you know, you have the classic, open your heart, thunder, rain and lightning, and you're supersonic flying.
Yeah.
Like through all the rubble of a city, defeating Giant Chaos, which is this water beast creature with all the Chaos Emeralds in him. And you spin up into his body and you smash into his brain. And then you go back, and that, like, Crush 40 is playing, which is some of my favorite video game music. And then in Sonic Adventure 2 in particular, both Shadow and Sonic turn Super Saiyan.
Deadly.
They get the Chaos Emeralds and use this wanking thing before it happens, and they turn Super Sonic and Super Shadow, and they have to defeat the final hazard, which is like this big fucking space creature. They're in space, stopping it from destroying the Earth, curdling towards it. So they're in space with Super Sonic, Super Shadow. And I was like, you can do it. It's like, live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Yeah, suck my dick.
Man. How have they never had? How has Sonic not had a cameo in Dragon Ball yet? Like, you know, Dragon Ball, they go to all these different alien species. You could easily have a Sonic planet, you know, a hedgehog planet or whatever he's from. Like, he's from an actual a distant planet, isn't he? In the movies, anyway.
I think it'll be like weirdly so like perfect, fourth wall breaking, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, it would. But why don't we? I think that's a nice way to end it and move on to our listener ones, because again, I feel like there's going to be a lot of them unearthed. Like, they were all my mainline favorites. And I really enjoy talking about them.
Yeah, there's so much that we're not thinking of.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, because we got a lot of people responding through in our Discord for our listener kind of questions, or we asked listeners to tell us their favourite boss battles. So I'm actually really excited to get into it, because
let's do it.
I guarantee it, there's loads of them.
So we got the first one from Brian Regan. Thank you for joining the Discord. Good to have you. There is so many, but the first one that came to mind is Metal Gear Rex from the very first Metal Gear Solid. Such an epic battle to finish an epic game.
Yeah. Have you played through? Sorry, we were talking about Metal Gear recently, but have you played through the original?
I haven't, but it is like a Metal T-Rex, right? Is it?
Yeah, as far as I remember, but man, like, I'd really like strongly recommend those games to you, man.
Trust me, they're on my radar. They're on my radar.
I actually think they'd be really great games for stream. I think they'd be really fun games for stream, because there's a lot of, like, all of the, you know, tactical espionage, trying to hide from the guards and stuff like that. I actually think that would go down really well in stream, but I also think you would love those games, man. So
agreed.
That's
agreed. I actually, Mark the Mill gave me the HD collection recently, so and I dabbled a little in 3, and what I saw I loved, because I always wanted to play 3, but I 100% will play them for sure.
Deadly. Thanks, Brian. Next up we have Old Mate, and Old Mate said, Jesus, so many to choose from. Core memory of grabbing King Bob-omb in Mario 64 and very tediously walking down the mountain, and once you throw him, he flies all the way back up like Superman. And I always found it worth the effort and entertainment. He has some dialogue to say, it's not playing fair, and the throw doesn't count. I don't remember walking him down the mountain. I do remember that as a really fun boss battle.
If you throw him off, he hops back up. But I think what Richard's saying is, like, literally would bring him all the way down just to see what happens. You know, you walk really slow with them, so he's obviously testing the boundaries of the game.
Brilliant.
Dinner Dog says Ganon no Ocarina of Time is so dramatic. Absolutely.
We've talked about it already.
I'll pop on the next one too, since it's a short one. Mr. Dave says that King K. Rool boxing match from Donkey Kong 64. Obviously, this is a game we both said we want to play and see, so we're not familiar with it. Remember it being hard as balls, then nailing it and feeling like I won the World Cup or something.
Yeah. It's man. We're really gonna have to get on that and play Super Mario, Donkey Kong 64.
It is a game I'm just very curious about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me too. Thanks, Mr. Dave and Dinner Dog. Next up we have Astroman, and Astroman said, I couldn't choose just one, but a few that stick out in my mind are Whiz Pig boss races in Diddy Kong Racing. Yeah, absolutely. They're very, very cool. Space ones were shocking hard. I remember being at my wits' end with them at the time. Me too. I was the exact same. That would be my young boss battles. Then the end from Metal Gear Solid 3. I love trying to find that bastard. Again, Metal Gear Solid 3, the end. I'm going to have to brush up on that one because although I have played all of the mainline Metal Gear Solid games, I can't remember the end. I kind of don't want to because I want it to be fresh in my head now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Astroman continued on and said, Majora's Mask would be another. The journey you have to get there is just phenomenal. When you have the investment in the people in Termina, the stakes of the boss battle were higher, and then the final transformation. Lately, Genichiro, can you pronounce that word?
Genichiro Ashina, maybe?
From Sekiro was a really impressive boss battle for me. Brutally hard, but Sekiro's quick reaction combat style made it more rewarding when you take that fucker down and chant it down.
I don't know if that's the last guy. I think he's one of those old fellows that I remember fighting that I could do because it was a shorter fight, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't any easier or harder. It was just the fact it was shorter.
Right. Very cool. Thanks,
Thank you for the stories.
Some really good ones there. Some really good ones. Yeah.
Zanfan said there were so many that I couldn't even begin. The first time I saw Bowser in Super Mario Bros. 3, my brother was the one actually playing it, and I remember being so pissed that he got the final boss before I did. Actually, that happened to me a lot when old mate, aka Richard, used to stay over at my house. We never knew how close we were to the end of the game, so he was like, "Oh, I saw the end of the game, for fuck's sake!" Like, we'd end up finishing it. Like, he'd be playing it too, and then we'd just end up randomly finishing all the games when he was at my house, so it would like ruin the endings for him.
Brilliant.
Another one is Zelda 2 on the NES. I was at my neighbour's house for his birthday, and we were all playing it. And friend finally got to the final level, and then he realized he was fighting his own shadow. He was like, "How the hell do I beat this?" Lol, of course, in Punch-Out, Mike Tyson was a damn beast, and I want to say I still never beat him without the cheat codes. As for the most frustrating, Judge fucking Doom on the NES version. Who Framed Roger Rabbit had everything you ever needed on a final boss. Confusion, uselessness, shit controls, what the fuckness, repetitiveness. Do I have all the items I need? Yay, I finally finished it. Why aren't you dying? What is going on? Oh, I gotta do that too. People always talk about how hard the bomb levels are in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles game, but not as many people talk about Christopher Lloyd wannabe. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at Chris's comment there.
Worded it
totally. I was like, fucking Doom on the NES version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I feel like that one just spiraled there a little bit, or maybe it was just me. But yeah, have you played? He mentioned Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Have you played Punch-Out?
I watched Game Grumps struggle with it at a horrendous level, so I'm familiar.
I actually remember watching my brother Aiden play it an awful lot as a kid on the NES, and I could never. I don't even think I could beat the first fighter in the game, but I do remember watching Aiden play it and just being like enamored by how you had to do it there were certain combinations you had to do to beat certain boxers, and really, really loving it. So yeah, really good shout. And I totally forgot, Chris mentioned there that at the end of Zelda 2 you fight Shadow Link, and I played through Zelda 2 on the NES Mini, I think it was. Yeah, it's coming back to me now that there was a Shadow Link in that one as well. That's obviously where the first one came from that we were talking about, it moved into
it was the first conception of it, and then it was realized again later on. Zelda games do that a lot, where they like Breath of the Wild was really the first game to try out the established formula over the last how many years between Zelda, the first Zelda, and up to Skyward Sword.
They reimagine things. It's, you know what I've noticed with a lot of these boss battles is I have forgotten them, and it's not that they're unmemorable or not memorable. It's just I realise that I've actually it's just that I realise I've played an awful lot more games, than comes to my mind automatically. So thanks, Chris. Next up we had Game Raider Paddy, and Paddy said, favourite boss battles. One of the greatest thrills in gaming is taking these foes down. This is not an easily answered question, especially after defeating so many over the years. Some of these victories were feats that could be bragged about in school. Absolutely they were. So Paddy said, I remember one battle that seemed unbelievable when I was at school, defeating the insanely powerful Emerald and Ruby weapons in Final Fantasy VII. I played through Final Fantasy VII, but never. I'm fairly sure Paddy was telling me about these certain bosses that were fucking mad difficult, and I don't think I took them on. Were either of these in the first remake that you've played yet?
Oh, I'm not sure. Like the first remakes gets to a point where like you get to like the top of this tower and like Sephiroth and your man.
Actually, hold on, stop. Sorry. I'm playing. Sorry, I don't.
I tell you what,
Sorry,
read the rest of it. Then give me your stories,
panicked.
and then we can figure it out. Because if we have a conversation halfway after the first line of the comment, and then we're not going through it, read the whole thing out.
I was just panicking because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I don't know where it goes. Right, sorry. So the ruby weapons in Final Fantasy VII. This was back in a time where there was no YouTube to guide you and on what you needed to do to overcome these challenges. Instead, it was all about level grinding, sharing tips and rumours about necessary items, and reading the odd magazine. Somehow I managed to defeat them. Nowadays, it isn't as bad with the years of replaying the game, but for the first time taking these titans on was amazing. The rewards for defeating these guys were incredible. You received an item to trade for a free gold chocobo from Ruby, which was very cool, and from Emerald you got an item to trade for 3 master materials: magic, summon and command. This literally gave you every spell, summon and command prompt for just 3 material slots. That's pretty cool. Another legendary boss battle for me was Rex versus Ray in Metal Gear Solid 4. Returning to Shadow Moses to take on Metal Gear Ray was such a fantastic throwback to Metal Gear Solid. Controlling Rex as Old Snake while Liquid Ocelot commanded Ray was nothing short of epic. Man, those fucking games. Since things are always better in threes, I have to include the Virgil boss fights in Devil May Cry. I love them. Any Devil May Cry game, any Virgil fight, amazing.
They're tough boys. Yeah, I can't wait. I actually turned on Metal Gear Solid 4. I have a PS3 copy and I just wanted to try it out for a hot minute. It looks so fucking good. It's like, fuck me. Graphically, that game looks like it came out yesterday. It's kind of outrageous.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Paddy.
It's just kind of madness on it. But yeah, so I'll pop down on in here. There's a little bit of a conversation going on, but I will get to the next main one, which we have on a laser steak. Hi Ben, also who popped in the stream today or yesterday. Cool. Good to see you. There's been some truly amazing boss battles, too many to mention, but for me I have a particular one. The final boss in the final DLC for Dark Souls 3. Yeah, well, there's I actually didn't play the DLC, sorry. Slave Knight Gale. Some background first. I got Dark Souls on the 360 one day when I was looking for something to play. Took it home and had no idea what to do or where to go. But then when I got to the swing of it, I absolutely fell in love with it. Watching lore videos on YouTube, yeah, like that's the thing, like the Souls games have incredible lore of environmental storytelling that like they're not told outrightly. I make my way through the game was amazing because Dark Souls doesn't have a traditional narrative. You piece the story together from item descriptions, etc. So it really lends itself to an online community having different thoughts, ideas of what happened. Yeah, it's so fun from that point of view. So cool. Anyway, Dark Souls 2 and 3 subsequently released, and each one I'd always wait a month or two before buying it so I could also have some lore to read about from other fans. That's nice. And I guess those games well implemented the fact that people could leave notes, like not too descriptive notes, but it created a little online environment on it. So the final boss in the DLC for the final game was a seminal moment for me. Spanning across games, generations. I was getting married that December and the DLC released in March. My wife had our first son 9 months after our wedding. Back of the net. And meeting that boss, something I always just happen to remember associate with moving to the next phase of my life with kids and a lot more responsibility with work, family, etc. Can't really spend 4 to 5 hours a night gaming every night. Did you try anymore? And I still have less time to spend on it. The actual boss battle is epic too. Lightning in the sky, hard as nails, the whole job. Rambling post. Don't ever be sorry for sharing those beautiful, nostalgic, goddamn memories. You hear me? I
really must play the Dark Souls game, man. I realise I'm saying that about almost every game that's being read out here, but I really.
But
what
your problem is you'll have 3 games on your list, right? You'll have you'll have those games. You have Dark Souls, you have Wind Waker, you'll have a couple of other things you want to check in, and you'll be looking there, and you'll be like, and then you'll see Ocarina of Time in the corner of your eye, and you'll go, fuck it, I'll play that.
Yeah, you're fucking right, man.
Tempting you on in like an old mistress. You're like, oh, fuck it, sure, I'll play that again.
Very good, very good. Gar, thanks Ben. Gar wrote in and said, let's just give the honourable mentions first. Every boss battle in Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear, man, there's a lot of fucking Metal Gear. Every boss battle in Metal Gear Solid 1. They were rather small when you look at it, but they all felt so grand and impossible at the time. I think it's just because you felt so human and vulnerable in the game. And Nier Automata, is that the one with the sexy
Nier Automata? Yeah, it's that's what Sexy Butt YouTube video I did.
Sexy Butt YouTube, just for the sheer scale of the boss battles. And I'm gonna assume you already mentioned fighting Red in Pokemon Gold Silver.
It did come into my head,
well,
and I meant to mention it when I was talking about Milk
shout.
Tank, but I actually forgot to mention it again. But we fucking love that.
Yeah, very cool. Next, Scar said, Metal Sonic and Sonic 2, that scared the bejesus out of me. I would basically try for 5 seconds, then tell myself it was impossible, reset the console and go back to happier levels. I fucking done that as well, man. Like, I remember getting to Metal Sonic and being like, nah, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. It was impossible. Oh, very good, very good. The T-Rex and Star Fox Adventures, to this day, I have still not passed it because I couldn't figure out what to do, but I'm going to try it out again soon as an adult. That's one I was asking, is it worth playing Star Fox Adventures, because I've never actually played it. Next, Scar said, I'm not sure if this counts, and spoilers for GTA 5.
Have you played GTA 5?
I have, yeah. But at the end, you have to choose to kill either Franklin or Trevor. I fucking totally forgot about this as well. This took me so long to decide, and I remember just driving around the city trying to decide who to kill. I think there's an actual fight when you choose, so I guess it counts. Fucking hell.
Now, I think, and I could be crazy, is there not a way to make all 3 survive?
I can't remember, man. It's been that long since I played the game.
I feel like, and I don't know, was it you were Franklin and you had to kill Michael or Trevor? I don't know. I feel like,
why are we calling them Franklin? It's Frank and Mike. Hey, Franklin.
Franklin. Yeah, Franklin. I'm wondering, is there a way for all 3? There might be.
Yeah. I can't. See, this is the thing. All these games I've played, I can't fucking remember, man. I'm going to have to go back. Next up, Gar said, Army of Two, the coupe shooter where you have to fight your partner at the end.
I remember that being a very mixed game, but that's obviously doing another spoiler warning, kind of Way Out type vibe, where it's like you're playing together and now you're against each other.
Yeah. Next up, Gar has a strange one, is an omnipresent boss, and that is the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation, who was present for almost the entire game. Yeah, I've heard about that. I believe it's scary as fuck. Second last, Gar says, but my favourite is Portal 2. You fight Wheatley at the end as Gladys attempts to retake control of the facility. Can't place a portal anywhere until white paint starts spewing on the walls, which allows you to place portals. They mention that the paint is made of moon dust in the final stages of the fight. A piece of the roof falls off, exposing the moon. Image below.
Are you thinking of Come?
No, well, that did come to mind, but no, it's just I've never played this game.
Yeah,
and
so
Gareth's going into such intricate detatel, and I haven't a fucking.
You might as well be reading out a random page of a history book or something, is it?
Basically, yes. I'm sorry, Gar. I'm so sorry. Oh, fucking hell. Hold on, hold on.
I'll take over. I got this. You keep laughing. They mention that the paint is made of moon dust. In the final stages of the fight, a piece of the roof falls off, exposing the moon. Image below, which check the Discord. Nisha is inconsolable bright red right now. I love it. You shoot a portal below Wheatley and the moon. Every moment later, you see a sparkle on the moon, and Wheatley, the more you read, the funnier it gets. Along with you are sucked through to the moon. Gladys manages to save you and suck you back in.
Oh, Gladys can suck you.
Great ending to a boss fight and very clever. Oh, fuck. Also, one last mention for Transformers Devastation, which is based on the 80s show. Right. It's done in cel-shaded graphics, and the boss fights are all the villains we know and love from the show. Each one of them is a blast. That's fucking gas, dude.
Changer.
We got a new cutie. I have to. Oh my god. Oh, dude, read that anytime you want to have fun. All right, save that, and read through it again, and just never play the game so you never understand it.
I'm coming down.
We got
Thanks, Gar.
Alex is playing. Alex is a beautiful Twitch and Kick streamer. Does retro
cool.
content specifically on Kick. So if
Cool.
you're looking for a retro fix, known as my waiting room before I start on stream, and also needs to host me once in a while because that's never seems to be happening. So what we got here is Alex says, I need to shout out a very little known, low budget game from the early days of the Xbox 360, Bullet Witch.
Sorry. Sorry, you just go ahead.
No, tell me, what did you want?
No, I'm just laughing at Gar's comment. I just think.
Gotta get that moon dust, man.
Sorry,
GLaDOS is
Alex.
coming for you.
No, read Alex's comment there. Sorry.
Don't cut any of this out, obviously. This game itself is about 4 or 5 hours long, with the final boss that is 30-minute long epic. So a huge portion of the game.
Bullet
Witch, yeah. The final boss is a giant demon that towers over buildings with an arm that has 3 snakes. He's gone. Anything with like description of he's just imagining his head going wild. That breathes fire like dragons. This demon's fires massive fireballs at you and sends out ghost zombie heads by the dozen to take you down. Not to mention, he will rip up the earth from below you. Oh my god. He's actually dead. I can't even hear it through Discord. I just see Anisha's face like dying. This battle takes place up and down a city block as the army fights alongside you. Crazy orchestral music plays during the fight and so damn good. It takes thousands of bullets and dozens of ability to finally take him down. The game in general is a great little gem that's forgotten about, but this battle is a true test of endurance and has stuck with me for even 16 or 17 years after my last playthrough. I actually definitely will stream that. It's a good shout. Nisha is absolutely dead, guys. He will not be able to speak. He's gone. He's still thinking of GLaDOS and the moon and everyone being sucked off by the moon dust. So I will take this time to thank you for writing your submissions for the best boss battles of all time. And thank you to our new Patreon members. I'm assuming Nisha will be thinking about being sucked off by GLaDOS moon dust for a long time because he's just gone. You know what I mean? He is just gone. I mean, if you ever think about Nisha, the white paint starts spewing on the walls, which allows you to create portals, okay? And then make sure you expose the moon. And don't forget about Wheatley. We're not sure who Wheatley is, but but make sure you get that Wheatley into you. Guys, make sure you suck Moondust, GLaDOS, Wheatley. Thank you for tuning in this week's episode. We'll be back again shortly. Make sure you join the Discord. Check us out at patreon.com/suckmydick on wheatleymoondust.com. And, join the conversation. Until next time, my name's been Keith. And what's your name?
Fuck off. My name's Wheatley.
Talk to you later, Wheatley boy. Make sure you're sucking that moondust, Wheatley. Hashtag Wheatley. Guys, can we get hashtag? Also, would you do me a favor? Everyone just comment hashtag Wheatley underneath and hashtag moondust, whichever feels better. And, make sure GLaDOS gets you sucked dry, you know what I mean? Get that spewing white paint, Wheatley, GLaDOS. Talk to you later, guys. This has been for real. Bye.